Hello and welcome back to the ArsenalVavel YouTube channel. I'm joined by Ben and we're going to be giving our player ratings and thoughts on Arsenal's 2-1 victory in the North London derby on Sunday. Ben, what colour is North London?
I think we're both wearing it, aren't we?
Red, isn't it? I think so. Yeah.
Always been, always will be.
Always has been, always will be. We started really well, I think, that game, didn't we? And overall, I think it's fair to say we deserve to win.
Oh, we deserve to win comfortably.
Yeah, it was.
It should have been more than two. I mean, we hit the post, we hit the bar.
Yeah,
it was masterclass from start to finish, and we didn't even play our best player. So I mean,
it was half an hour of dominance, and then we let them score, and then probably then dominated again until we took the lead, and then after that we had a nervy sort of 20 minutes where we sort of let them back into it. Obviously decisions went our way. Dubious penalty for some fans. I thought it was Stonewall. Lamella said
that's as nailed on a penalty as you're going to see. I don't care what argument people come with. You know, if you're going to say Lacazette kicked Sanchez, then surely you've got to apply the same rule when Willian Jose kicked David Louise at Wolves.
Yeah.
You know, it's, for me, that is as Stonewall a penalty as you're going to see all season. Yeah. You can't just jump in two-footed at somebody as they're trying to shoot.
Yeah. Lamella got sent off, sort of didn't really change the game in our favour.
Definitely not in our favour. It changed the game.
Favor. Harry Kane probably arguably could have and should have been sent off for that horrendous, just like smash into Gabriel, but we won the game. It doesn't matter. We'll take what we got, and we upset Jose, so all the better. So player ratings, starting goal. Bernd Leno didn't have much to do. Not at fault at all for the goal. You don't want to be sort of too harsh and low scoring because we won a derby, but it's sort of not really fair to give him a really high mark.
No, I'd give him a 6. I mean, I genuinely don't think he touched the ball in the first half, aside from picking the ball out of the net.
Yeah.
What a goal by Lamella. You've got to give it credit. But yeah, how typical is it that Arsenal dominate for half an hour and then concede a worldie?
Yeah,
we knew it was going to be a world-class goal or one of our defenders passing it into Harry Kane.
Yeah. It had to be that. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
But 6 is
fair
fair.
Play to me. It was a worldie. I give Leno a 6, I think.
6. We'll start with Cedric in defence, who I think had a good game. I think he sort of hit the post, had a great chance, wasn't at fault for the goal necessarily. It was a fair game for him. He stepped up. I think he's a better defender than Bellerin. And that's being proven when he's been playing.
I think he was definitely helped by the fact that Son got injured.
Yeah.
That definitely gave him a lot of, I suppose it took a lot of defensive weight off his shoulders, because all of a sudden he didn't have that runner in behind that he had to track every time. Yeah, I thought it was really solid. I thought, Bellerin's probably going to be sweating over his position at right back for the foreseeable future if Cedric's going to put in performances like that.
Yeah.
Compared to Matt Doherty on the other side for Spurs, it was
dreadful, wasn't it?
Chalk and cheese, wasn't it?
Yeah. 7 for Cedric. We happy with that? Sort of.
Yeah, 6.5, 7.
More involvement than Leno sort of did, affected the game more. I have an interesting shout here. I think Gabriel was one of my man of the match contenders. I thought he
I agree.
Solid
100%.
That goal line clearance in the 90th minute from Sanchez, and he stepped up. He sort of dropped a bit of form after he's sort of suffering COVID, but he stepped up in that game yesterday, and he was brilliant for me.
Yeah, agreed. The only black mark that I can put against his name was that sort of up in the air clearance around the 80th minute.
Yeah.
They just went straight up and put us under all sorts of pressure. But other than that, I thought he was brilliant. He pocketed Harry Kane. I'm not even sure Harry's left that yet. I think he's still probably going around Gabriel's washing machine somewhere. But yeah, I thought he was immense. He's the sort of centre-back we've been crying out for.
Proper mature centre-back, and with 23 as well, it showed. Yeah, when is it? First home derby, he was quality. 8 was a fair result for him.
eight and a half. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't think he could have done anything about the goal. I think he marshaled Kane really well. That was a brilliant goal on clearance. I'd give him an 8.5, to be honest.
nice one. David Louise, similar to Gabriel, I think, sort of not a fault for the goal, and that was the experienced centre back that we thought we were getting when we got David Louise.
Yeah, and he also gets an extra point for, despite having been at Chelsea for 7 years, posting London is red on his Instagram.
Yes, we like that.
Not even North London either, just all of London.
Yeah,
so
we love London.
he gets an extra point for that. So we'll give him about 7.5, 8.
I think eight's definitely fair as well. I think can't mark him down from Gabriel when they formed the partnership. Kieran Tierney was just immense. It's why I love that man. He's so good.
Kieran Tierney is probably the best left back we've had since Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
His ability to just sort of stop the ball dead and then carry on, leaving defenders behind, is brilliant. There are no. You run out of superlatives to use for Kieran Tierney because he used them every single game because he's brilliant every game.
He was almost playing as a left winger. The damage he did to Doherty and that Spurs defence. I mean, he got the assist for Odegaard's goal. He should have maybe had one or two more for Lacazette or Cedric.
Should definitely have had more.
He's
all of
so
our attacks were coming down that left-hand side, and he and Smith Rowe were absolutely brilliant. Doherty had no chance, and with Bale not tracking back to help him, the poor guy was left 2v1 every single time.
Matt Doherty, the Arsenal fan, seemingly put in a horrendous display. I want to give him 10, but I don't think he was sort of. I don't know. I want to give him a 10, 9 fair.
Yeah, 8.5, 9. I think he was definitely. He definitely did more than Gabriel, but I don't think he was necessarily better than Gabriel.
Yeah, that's true.
But I could see giving him a 9.
Yeah, I think I'll put him a 9. I think because he got the assist, sort of that takes him that step above Gabriel. So, and he was a nuisance. Thomas Partey is an interesting one. He's solid 70 minutes or so, and then he started to tire, and he sort of, I think he might have got booked in the end. He gave away some silly fouls. You saw that he passed it sort of backwards, and David Louise screamed at him, conceded the corner in that last few minutes. He was solid, but I think that first time playing 90 minutes for a while showed.
Yeah, you can see why we took him off at 55 minutes against Olympiacos. He was, at 70 minutes, he was just knackered. He was done. You know, if he was a horse, you would have put him down. It's that sort of thing. I actually didn't think he had a brilliant first 70 minutes either. For his problem with Thomas Partey is he sets such high standards, and he's so far above all of our other midfielders that he has to really be incredible to earn his stripes almost. Mm-hmm. I thought he was good. He did a lot of breaking through the lines, which I really liked. But I actually thought Granit Xhaka was better than him yesterday, and I'm going to get a lot of stick for saying that. But
I think that's fair.
I'd give Partey a 6.5 or a 7.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 or 7. So we'll go 7 because I think it's the derby. We've got to overscore everyone.
We won. We might as well.
We won. Granit Xhaka, you kick us off with him then. I think I agree with you. So.
I thought he was brilliant. I tweeted out last week when we lost to Burnley. Sorry, drew to Burnley.
It felt like a loss.
It felt like a loss. It felt like we got smacked, to be honest.
Yeah.
I tweeted out, yesterday we saw one of Granit Xhaka's cons today where he was playing out from the back and got it wrong. But yesterday we saw so many of his pros.
Yeah.
Like, he was everywhere. He was winning every ball. Højbjerg and Tanguy and Ndombele are apparently this brilliant double pivot, and I didn't hear a peep out of them all game.
And Ndombele went missing. The only time I saw Højbjerg was when he celebrated Lamella's goal. It was it was brilliant from Xhaka, and I know Partey being next to him is very useful because they complement each other quite well. Yeah,
but I thought Xhaka was definitely the better player of the two yesterday.
Yeah, I agree. Sort of leadership. He sort of had a bumming out of the side. Sort of didn't lack. We sort of lacked almost that guy who takes it by the scruff of the neck. The youngsters did, but that maturity, and I think Xhaka showed it. Didn't do anything stupid. Didn't get sent off. but showed the passion. I think that's what you need in the derby. So, go on, what would you rate him? I'll let you take the lead on this one.
I'll give him an 8,
Yeah.
7.5, 8. I feel like if we're gonna give everyone an extra point, if we're giving Party a 7, we need to give Xhaka an 8, just for the difference between the two.
I'd agree with that.
He really stepped up.
Bukayo Saka on the right wing, hearing today that he was taken off rather as a injury precaution rather than tactical or to rest him, which is worrying. Sort of overshone by Smith Rowe and Odegaard in that midfield three for me yesterday, which I think, considering how much he's done for the team, almost might be a bit unfair. But he was, the other two I think influenced the game more.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the quietest 45 minutes of football I've seen Saka play in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah.
He didn't really do anything with the ball. It was very much get the ball, pass it back to Cedric, pass it to Odegaard. And he to be in his defence, I say that he got in a couple of times. There was obviously that brilliant Region last week's challenge on him. But compared to how he has been, he just looked really, really tired, which is completely fair enough.
He's carrying an injury as well.
So often.
If he was brought off at half time, he might have picked up an injury earlier in the game, and that's why he looked a bit leggy. And then as well, sort of, he's been playing so much and so consistently well, you can sort of afford him a game off. So
yeah, 100%.
I think a 6 or 7 is fair.
I'd give him a 6. I think, as you say, he's done so much for us that he completely warrants a day off. And I think yesterday was probably one of those, you never want to see someone have a game worse than they're capable of. But if we're going to win the game anyway, I'd rather Saka got 45 minutes and played below par and was rested for Olympiacos on Thursday.
Yeah. Martin Odegaard, it's clear he was one of the best players, I think, on par for me with Tierney. But it's almost hard watching him because that he's probably going back to Real Madrid this summer. And it's like, we got him, he's been great. He sort of scored the goal in the derby, did this, did that. But we're not going to sort of see that progression. He's progressed massively in 2.5 months at Arsenal. It's not even been that. But it's hard to sort of watch and then know that we won't reap those rewards next season. But that game yesterday was magic. He was proper. It was almost, not quite. It was almost early days of Mesut Ozil. Sort of that's just sort of like silkiness or getting into those right positions. Sort of like what Ozil did against Napoli in the Champions League.
Yeah,
just that sort of like silkiness, ability to drift in, play that pass, score a goal. Like he was brilliant yesterday.
I think it's quickly becoming a question of how much is he going to cost in the summer, because we're going to want to sign him. I think that's pretty clear. He had a slow start to his career at Arsenal. I think it's fair to say, but he's bedded in really well, and he's getting better with every game. I thought yesterday he was good. I still don't think we've seen the best from him. We've seen the odd bit of magic, but I think he can really, really go up another gear, which is what excites me so much. But also knowing that Real Madrid, if he goes up the other gear, Real Madrid can just stick another 15 million on the price tag. I thought it was one of his better games yesterday, for sure. Yeah,
I was hopeful. He sort of scored in the midweek. You sort of say, keeper error, he should have saved it. And they scored again yesterday. It was deflection, but he's getting in those areas now. He wasn't necessarily doing that, or he's sort of getting shots on target, or getting them right, which he wasn't doing. I think he got the chance. I forgot who we were playing at the Emirates. But it might be that Villa game. No, we were playing away. Whatever it was, he sort of got that chance. He skied it over the bar from the edge of the box. Right, but we've got you in a lane. You're meant to be this great midfielder, and you're sort of not necessarily doing it. But now, the last 3 or 4 games, he's really, really shown his worth.
I think he had a similar opportunity against Benfica, didn't he, in the early stages? where Kieran Tierney pulled it back to sort of that penalty spot area, and he scuffed it wide before he scored that goal.
Yeah.
And then obviously yesterday he scored it. So that in itself is an idea of like progression. He's clearly getting into the positions that he needs to be in to get the goals, even if he's not the most assertive when he's there. If it comes back to him, you think he'll score, but judging on the evidence, when he's missed one, he's had one deflected in. It's getting closer.
Yeah, and it's just like that one clean strike, and it's brilliant. Again, I said he was up there on Tierney's level. I'm not sure it's a 9, but it's definitely the high 8s for me.
Yeah, I'd give him an 8. Yeah, I could go with
that. Emile Smith-Rowe stood out over Saka, sort of got into his position to get on that left side with Tierney. They linked up really well. And it's good to see him back on form in the team, playing well, and hopefully got over that injury.
Yeah, I mean, I gave him my man of the match. For me, I thought he was better than Tierney, better than Odegaard on that pitch. The way that he was able to always make the right decision, whether it be running in behind Doherty or carrying the ball inside, I thought for someone who's only 20, the 70 odd minutes we got out of him were absolutely phenomenal, especially given he's been pushed out of the middle spot in that midfield.
Yeah.
For Odegaard to come in, and I think he's sort of taken to that left hand side like a duck to water. He's been brilliant out there. And yesterday, I think he was probably his best performance in an Arsenal shirt since the one against West Brom.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I agree. I think he had a lot to do with the game. Sort of hit the bar. We saw he was really unlucky there. Again, like we said, linking up with Tierney. Again, just magic and sort of what you want from a derby.
Everyone's magic from yesterday.
Everyone's magic. He's like one of the guys that it means a lot to as well, growing up in the Arsenal camp. So he
hit the bar, didn't he?
Yeah, that was such some strike.
And then he was already running away to celebrate as the ball hit the bar. You just see how much it means to him.
Yeah, he would have loved to have scored that. What would you rate him then? What would you give him? If
I'd put him up there 8.5, 9. Personally, I thought he was easily one of our 3 best players on the pitch.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, although Odegaard scored, I think he was more involved than Odegaard. I'd agree with that. If you put him up there with Tierney, I'd give him a 9 as well.
Yeah.
Lacazette, I don't want to be negative. I really don't want to be negative. Disappointed me quite a bit. There was just some chances that you think as a centre forward that you need to be making the most of. And I don't want to you don't want to compare him to, but if Aubameyang was playing or what if, but there was just the one that fell to Cedric when he hit the post. He really should have just put his laces through. You don't know if someone called for it, but if you're a centre forward, you ignore that call and you strike it. Had 1 or 2 near posts that you really should have done better with. Misfired a couple. Misfired the shot. Yeah, he won the penalty, but that was 1-on-1 really, and you really should be doing better. But he scored the penalty, so. And we won a derby, so you can't criticise him too much. But it wasn't his best game in an Arsenal shirt, was it?
No. I mean, I think a lot of credit has to go to him for the way that he dropped in to sort of overpower that Spurs midfield.
Mm-hmm.
That double pivot was suddenly facing 3 or 4 on 2, and they really, really struggled the entire game.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I think Charles Watts said it in his post-match review, sometimes you just want your striker to be in the position where he's going to score goals, not where he's linking the play, because Tierney looks up and there's no one to cross it to.
That's fair.
So I think he was really useful in terms of link-up play. I just question whether we needed him to be there because we already had Odegaard and Smith-Rowe and Saka.
Yeah. It's a role that you'd expect Odegaard to drift in and out of from that defensive cover, then sort of be on like alongside Lacazette. You don't really want the striker dropping deep and your midfield was dribbling deep, because then you're playing without that recognised centre forward. But won the penalty, scored the penalty. It was a good penalty. I thought he hit it wide. I thought he'd done an Aubameyang again, and we'd missed another penalty in the derby. But went in furthest bottom corner you could get. Again, we won the derby, so you can't criticise anyone or underscore anyone. So I think a 7 is fair, considering he scored. Work for you?
Yeah, works for me perfectly, mate.
Perfect. Coming on to sort of the last player to play a substantial amount of time, Nicola Pepe came on for Bukayo Saka at half time, so got 45 plus 5 added minutes, which was the strangest score I'd ever seen. Again, I think he played well. I think it was the first time I think I've seen him, apart from that game against in the Europa League last season. Who is that team we went 2-0 down to?
Victoria.
Yes, Victoria. That was, and maybe Man United on New Year's Day last year was the only sort of time I've seen him probably work for, like, properly work and put in a shift until yesterday. He was chasing on balls. He was chasing those short balls. He was making the most out of that poor Spurs team. I think, like we mentioned it before, Spurs were dreadful. They were always losing the ball, giving it away, heavy touches, and he was working for that. Louise just kicked it in the middle of nowhere, sort of beyond his defenders in midfield, and Pepe was straight onto it. And I think he had a good game. I was really pleased with him. He didn't score, he didn't sort of get the headlines, but he put in a shift. And sometimes that's all we need from him.
Yeah, agreed. I think he's got to be in with a shout of getting a start now. Probably next weekend against West Ham. I can't see him playing against Olympiacos because we have 4 days to recover.
Yeah.
You probably see Saka, if he's fit again, and Aubameyang come back in, and the usual cast.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he was brilliant when he came on today. I thought he was better than Saka was, even if if Saka was carrying a niggle, Saka was tired.
Yeah.
You can say all that, but Pepe was. I always want Pepe to do well because he seems like such a likable character.
Yes.
And I always feel like he gets very hard done by opposition fans and opposition players. I feel like he's constantly fouled. The sort of don't get given for one reason or another. But I think that he's really starting to gain some confidence. I think working with Arteta has really helped him. That pass to Lacazette was brilliant. And I'm not sure it's something he would have tried 3 or 4 months ago. I'm not sure he would have been in the right position to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was really, really good. And I thought it was really promising to see him starting to, the last few weeks, he's starting to be the player that we thought we signed.
Yeah. I was really happy
off the bench.
I agree with you. Sort of, he just worked hard. It was what you want in a derby from your players.
Yeah.
And you just put in that extra drive to do well, especially, I think, 1 at a time. And he was just chasing those long balls. So can't complain. 7, if he was better than Saka, but didn't necessarily get all the goal involvements.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Perfect. We also have to mention El Nendi came on for the last 2 minutes normal time, so came on for about 7, 8 minutes. Willian came on for sort of 10, 13 minutes or so. Neither affected the game or did anything noticeably different or changed it up a bit, but it's more minutes and they part of a derby winning team. So we're not going to rate them because they didn't have enough time to justify a rating, but again, sort of didn't do anything bad or didn't do anything that led to a goal. So great performances from them both as well.
Great performance all around, wasn't it? It was a derby win. What more could you ask for?
Mikel Arteta, let's just touch on him because I saw the team. You sort of saw that there's no Aubameyang, and then you sort of saw, which I sort of, once we understood why, perfectly understandable. Apart from that, I was very happy with that team. It was almost the team we predicted. I don't think it was quite what we sort of agreed on in the end, but it was definitely up there with what we said.
I think there was not a lot of choice in the matter about who was going to play. I think Pepe was the only sort of uncertainty, and obviously Aubameyang if he was not being disciplined. The rest of the team sort of picks itself, like Leno, Tierney, the double pivot in midfield. Gabriel picks himself. Louise probably picks himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're looking at 6 or 7 of them. Saka as well. Odegaard. They all sort of pick themselves in the team if you're playing your strongest team, which we hoped you would.
Yeah, I think Arteta got it spot on. Got one over on Mourinho, and sort of showing that maturity now to sort of have the confidence and the awareness to drop your captain, your best player, your top goal scorer in the biggest game of our season, and to still come out with a win. I know Spurs set up negatively and we couldn't have guessed how they would do that. It's some seriously impressive game management. And to get that confidence of dominating a game for 30 minutes, then conceding a goal in the manner we did and the type of goal we conceded. Because you sort of see that, and some like Arsenal 2 years ago would have conceded that goal and would have capitulated and we lost 3-0. So he's bringing the team forward.
Yeah, the team has some belief in what they're doing, which I think is important. You know, they seem to have bought into this project. I mean, for one, I'm fully sold on it. Just even if it just means we're going to get cool kits for the next 4 years.
It is some nice merch they've released today.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's not
every time they come out in a different color or a different kit. I'm like, that looks really nice. I'm going to buy that.
I thought he was wearing the hoodie yesterday. I looked up, I was like, 100 quid. It's really nice. But can I justify?
But it's 100 quid.
100 quid on a hoodie.
Tell you what, if we get these monetized, I'll buy
it. Yes. Someone sponsor us. Adidas. If you want to sponsor us and send us some of the new Arsenal merch, we'd love that. No, but it was great all round and nothing that you can complain about. And as we've proven, as I've got up there, London is red and will forever be red. And I'm just happy. We've not done one of these in a while where we've all been just really happy. I mean, yeah, the Olympiacos win, the Benfica win, but that was expected. I didn't necessarily expect us to put in that kind of performance.
I don't think anyone did. Did we? No,
it was partly down to Jose's. I think he set them up wrong. I mean, you can't set up with that 4 up top and still play so defensively and play really badly defensively as well. Which he sort of, I don't know if that was him or the players' nerves or occasional, whatever it was, but Sanchez looked dodgy. Doherty didn't play well, considering how well he played at Wolves last season. It was just Arteta got it spot on and Jose didn't, and that prevailed.
Yeah, I was very surprised at Jose's choice of tactics. Sort of, especially, it would have been very difficult to drop Gareth Bale.
Yeah,
but in terms of tactical tweaks, that's the one place where I would have maybe brought on someone with a bit more defensive awareness, because our left-hand side is renowned as being the one that we go to all the time.
Yeah.
Whether whoever's over there, whether it be Pepe and Tierney, whether it be Smith Rowe and Tierney, and poor Matt Doherty, he didn't play great, but you had to feel from every time it went left, he sort of had to look at 2 players and go, right, which one am I letting go this time?
Yeah, and that was. But he's an Arsenal fan, so maybe he did it deliberately, and maybe that's why he let Tierney run past him to get the assist for Odegaard's goal. Good result, but again, we keep saying it. It's a game that could define our season. We've won it. It's another 3 points. We closed the gap to them. Currently 2 points behind Liverpool, but they play Wolves tonight, so you expect that
4 points behind Spurs.
4 points behind Spurs. I'm not saying that the European chase is on, but it's very close. And all you need is other results to go in your favour. And if we get 6 points and Spurs drop points after the significance of that defeat, you never know.
Yeah, and also we've got some easier fixtures. Whereas, Spurs I think Spurs have got 3 games in April against teams above them, which is difficult. And we've got games that you would expect a top side to win, but the Arsenal tend not to win. Brighton, Sheffield United, Newcastle, that sort of team.
I mean, beyond these next two games, which are West Ham, and then we've got the international break against Liverpool. You've got a potential quarterfinal of the Europa League. Then bottom of the table, Sheffield United, who have just sacked their best manager they've had in a while, suffered their biggest defeat in 21 years. I know it's a month away, but they're for the taking. Then again, potential quarterfinal. Fulham, who are battling relegation. Everton, you could argue, is a tricky game. And again, you've got potential Europa League, Newcastle, potential Europa League, West Brom, who probably will be relegated by the time we play them, so they won't give a damn. Chelsea, who could be battling for top four, and then Palace and Brighton in a potential European final. It's a favourable run-in. You look at those games, you say there's 4 tricky games in that run-in domestically. And you sort of then say that and say, oh yeah, but there's only 9 games left or whatever it is. How many games do we have left?
10, I think.
We have 10 games left. 5 of those you should be winning. You potentially look at them and say, right, Everton, like for like, they're having a better season, but maybe Chelsea beat them at home. Why not? Liverpool, not the greatest run of form. West Ham, when are they gonna get tired?
All of those games are winnable for me.
I'm not saying we
won't win them all,
but
all of them are winnable.
Yeah, you sort of only really expect on current form Chelsea to be the game. Are we playing Liverpool at Anfield or at the Emirates?
I can't remember where we played them last time. I can't remember what the result was.
Liverpool's at the Emirates, and last time we beat them played them at the Emirates, we beat them. Reece Nelson had a quality game, so it's favourable for Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got the Europa League next. 3-1 up. You'd expect us to win that and see it through. And then it's
but it is Arsenal.
It is Arsenal, and that's why you may as well go and beat Spurs in the derby. But then if you lose 3-0 to Olympiacos at home on Thursday, you're a bit like.
If we lose 3-0 to Olympiacos at home on Thursday, we should literally just liquidate.
We will cancel the podcast. No, I don't want to say that. We've put too much effort into this to cancel it. But again, it's building one step at a time. But that win could be enormous. We're not saying it will. We're not saying that it's going to get us Champions League from the league or anything like that. But that win should give the players as much momentum, motivation, and belief as it does with the fans.
What we're saying is there's a chance.
There's a chance. We're in 10th still. We've still got 10 games to play, which means we've got games in hand over teams above us. There's a chance. You look at that, we're 10th. West Ham are 5th and they're 7 points above us. We beat them on Sunday. It's a 4-point gap. And West Ham doing brilliantly, and rightly so they should get praised. But they're the unlikely story of the season, aren't they? You never expect them to be in 5th with 10 games to go. So it's positive, but it won't matter because we've got Olympiacos first. And that's a game we must win. We will have a preview out maybe on Wednesday. Hopefully Wednesday, if not, definitely Thursday. But in the meantime, that's been our player ratings for the North London Derby win. Remember, London is red. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. Follow us on Twitter. Let us know your thoughts. Thank you, Ben, for joining me. And until next time.
Pleasure as always.
See you later.